So we kind of pick up in the middle of a story today as we begin this tale of Elijah. We find him a day's journey already in the desert. And we might scratch our heads and ask, why is he in the desert? What's going on here? Well, Elijah has gotten fed up with the people Israel. He's fed up with them chasing after false gods. He's fed up with them not being faithful to their God. He's fed up with it. And so he throws the gauntlet down and he said, let's have a contest of faith. You gather all of your prophets and I'll stand over here. And we'll erect 2 altars. And we'll put the sacrifice on both altars. And then we'll ask the true God to reveal himself by kindling the fire upon those altars all by himself. And of course, the prophets of the false god, they spend all day dancing around that altar, wailing and weeping and crying out to their God. Nothing happens. And Elijah prays that God will reveal himself to his people, and he does. And fire strikes the altar, and the sacrifice is burned up there. And the people witness this, and they remember their faith again. That was the job of the prophet, to whip people back into their faith. Remember who God is. And in doing that, they slayed all of the false prophets right there, threw them into the river, which did not make the king and queen very happy. And so Jezebel, the wicked queen, sends the army out after Elijah to put him to death. And so we find him now fleeing for his life. And he's gone a day's journey into the desert, and he's exhausted. And he's probably seeing the futility of it all. How far can I run? How fast can I run? Will not their horses and their chariots and their weapons eventually overtake me? And he begins to despair. And so he finds that tree, and he crawls into its shade, and he lays down, goes to sleep, and says, Lord, just do it yourself. Take me. I give up. I can't do this anymore. Let me die. But God won't let him die. God won't let him just give up that easily. And so he sends the messenger there, the angel, to prod him, to wake him up, and provides food for him. Now get up, eat, and drink. So Elijah does this, but what does he do? He goes right back to sleep. He doesn't get on his way. Still, God doesn't allow him. He prods him a second time. Wake up, you fool. Now eat again, because you have a journey to take. You have something yet to do. Get going. Elijah's response to this very terrible evil that's going on in his life, I think is a response that many people fall into every now and again in our lives, at least once. That when we are faced with something difficult, when we are faced with trial, or temptation, or struggle, or wickedness, or evil in any of its forms, sometimes we just want to give up. We just want to say, enough, all right, let it be, let them have their way, let it all be over, or we'll give in to the temptation. I'm tired of fighting it. I'm tired of this virtue, because it's hard, and I'll just give up. And that is what happens when we keep our eyes fixed on the thing pursuing us. Elijah's problem was that he wasn't fixed on God. He had just proven the true God, and then he himself forgot God. And all he saw was Jezebel and her army, and that they were out to get him. And by focusing on the monster, by focusing on the boogeyman, by focusing on the evil, that's all he could see. And it overwhelmed him. Even when that evil is imaginary, if we focus upon it, that's all we see. And so Elijah gave up hope because he was no longer looking at the light. And that's what the messenger, the angel that was sent to him, tried to get him to see. You need to keep your eyes fixed in this direction ahead of you, not behind you. So eat this food, nourish your body, and move forward, not backwards. When we're trying to overcome evil, when we're trying to overcome temptation, when we're trying to make life better, there are all of those things that are not right and not good, and there are wickedness and temptations and things going on in our lives and even in our hearts that are big, that cause anxiety or worry within us. And it's really easy to focus in on that. But when we're looking at that, we're no longer looking at God. The message of the prophet today is to keep your eyes fixed on God. And we know this to be true even when we're trying to change a bad habit. Maybe we're trying to exercise every day. Maybe we're trying to quit smoking. Maybe we're trying to go on a diet. Maybe we're trying to whatever these good habits are that we're trying to do. You know how hard it is sometimes. And when you completely cut the cord, when you completely sever that and cut that out of your life, if you don't replace it with something else will take its place. Because we are not built for emptiness. That's why Elijah was given food. Be filled with God's strength so that you can deal with these things. You may say, I never want to gamble again, or I never want to drink again, or I never want to smoke again. But if we just say no and then add nothing to our lives, that emptiness will consume us and draw us back in to our bad habits, our fears, our temptations, our whatever. What we are called to do is to find something to replace it. Not only cut out the sin, but replace it with something nourishing. What is good that I can add to my life in its place so that I will not feel the weakness or the emptiness, but that I will have the strength to go on. And that's why Jesus promises us the gift of the Eucharist in the Gospel today. I will be your bread of life. If you keep focused on me, I will nourish your heart. I will give you what you need to be able to move forward. And the bread that I will give is my flesh. He promises this already, and the Jews don't know what to make of that. How can this be? They don't understand, and they don't see. They don't keep their eyes fixed on the truth. And so eventually, they will walk away. They will go in other directions. We come here today in the midst of our week, at the beginning of our week, to claim Christ, to say, that's where my sight has to be set. And all these other things in my life, they may be big, they may be small, they may be empty, they may be demanding, whatever. But this is where the answers to all of my problems lie. I need to be fixed on Jesus. I need to be fixed on goodness. It's not always easy, but it's nourishing. And that's what will give us the strength to go forward. And as you and I do that, we find that shelter. Elijah found that little patch of shade and was going to give up in it. God rather turned that shelter into a starting point. Now go forth from here. You've rested, you've been fed, now go forth. Likewise with us. So I urge you, look at your own life. Delve into that emptiness. How can we fill it? What is my life lacking so that I can do good, be good, embrace good habits? What do I need to nourish myself so that I can go forward with strength? Because if we try to do it without God and His help, we will lay down and die. We will be like Elijah. I can't be good. I can't get over this temptation. I can't overcome this addiction. I can't do these things. Unless we turn it over to God and be fed by Him, we will pray for death. But Jesus says, I am the bread of life. Don't lay down to die. Lay down instead so that you can get up again and go toward Him. Life is exhausting. And that's why God nourishes us with the flesh for His life in this world.